Tony and I were down here trying to flip a coin, see who would go first. Actually, I thought he had won and he was going to go first, but I'll make some remarks, and I think Tony and I will probably tag team off of one another, because one of the things that is obvious about our business is that it grinds at a fairly slow pace when it comes to policy matters. And I've said many times that I began my career at Southern Company in 1971. In March of that year, gosh, think about it, that was 39 years ago. And I got a job with Georgia Power Company at the time because they thought they needed somebody to work on environmental issues having to do with clean air and clean water. I've made a career out of this, and I'm comfortable. I'm going to retire without having finished the job. That's how slow this is moving. I want to talk just a few minutes with you this morning about sort of where we are. A couple of things that I would suggest that we know for certain. One is that the service that we provide drives the economy. It is absolutely essential. You cannot enjoy our lifestyle, you cannot expand this economy without a reliable and affordable supply of electricity. It is absolutely essential. We also know that we're going to need more of it. Now, there's no question that we've been in an economic recession that has dampened all of our sales and all of our load forecast, but we've been here before. We've had the experience of moving through recessions, and what we know is that once we find a bottom and begin to recover, providing reliable sources of electricity is absolutely certain, absolutely essential. The other thing that we know is that it will cost more money. My capital budget for the next 3 years is somewhere around $15 billion. I'm amazed that when I talk to community organizations, Rotary clubs, or whatever in our service territory, and I use that number, $15 billion. There was a time 3 or 4 years ago when I said 15 billion, and there would be some reaction from the audience, you know, an ooh or an ah. We've become jaded with the conversation in this town around trillions of dollars, so that we've lost the sense of the financial challenge that this industry faces. We know that ours has always been a very, very capital-intensive industry. It requires a lot of money to make the major investments in infrastructure. We know, because we have been doing that as a company and as an industry, we continue to invest significant sums as we build out new transmission, new distribution, as we try to automate our infrastructure, as we struggle with what new technologies and what new capacity forms we will invest in. So we know we're going to need more. We know it's going to cost more. Well, the question is, how should we proceed? Well, I would suggest that, first of all, we need more transparency, more objective information, a good, healthy dose of reality about what is achievable at what cost than ever in our history. Because as we move forward, if we don't get this right in finding some sense of balance, it is clear to us that we will impose significant new economic cost on an economy that is already clearly burdened. So what we are trying to do, and what Tony will talk about as the leader of our industry, is the effort that is ongoing with the policy process to try to find a balance between our desire for a cleaner footprint, maintaining our obligation for reliability and affordability to drive the economic success that we enjoy. Let me spend just a moment telling you what we are doing at Southern Company. I know more about what we are doing than anybody else, but I suspect that most of my peers in the industry are trying to find a combination of these similar things. And I was interested to listen to Malcolm's comment about the smart grid and the question about what the smart grid is. I think we have a lot of people talking about this notion of smart grids who have different impressions and not very much real understanding about the fundamentals of our business. As we have talked about that, what we have decided to do at Southern Company is to break that down into 3 areas. And the thing that I am trying to convince my shareholders and my board and my employees about is the fundamental understanding that there is a lot smart about our business other than just what we typically refer to as the grid or the wires. So we've broken this down into a smart grid, meaning the wires, smart energy, meaning how we produce the product, and smart choices, meaning how we interact with our customers. And there is a wealth of opportunity and activity and potential for investment in each one of those broad categories. When you think about the smart grid, we, like many people, are trying to automate our transmission and distribution system as we build new infrastructure to make it more reliable, make it smarter, allow us to operate it more efficiently, allow us to recover from interruptions faster because we know more and can react quicker. We too have find ourselves in the process of trying to find an agreement on on stimulus funding for the smart grid. We were allocated about $160 million. We are in that conversation with DOE trying to find an agreement. Having had the experience on my nuclear loan guarantee, I had a little bit of preview of what that was going to be like, so I'm not surprised. I filed the application for a nuclear loan guarantee in the fall of 2008. We finally got agreement from DOE a couple of weeks ago on a nuclear loan guarantee. So I'm not surprised that there is an extended conversation going on here, but I share Malcolm's desire to move that process forward. I think we will get there, but and I always try to find a way to look for the good in people. I think the folks on the other side of these conversations are trying to protect the process and the money and look after our taxpayer money. They're a little more aggressive in some cases than I think they need to be, but we'll continue to work on that. So we're trying to do a lot with our transmission and distribution infrastructure. On the energy side, the smart energy side, there's so much that we are doing, whether it's in the renewable space, looking at biomass. We're planning to convert an old coal plant to biomass using wood waste in South Georgia. If we do so at 90 megawatts, it'll be one of the largest wood waste biomass facilities in the entire country. We've just entered into a contract in Nacogdoches, Texas for another biomass facility. We're looking at solar applications in our territory because we don't have wind velocities and intensity that we enjoy in the Southwest, but we're trying to understand the potential in our service territory. The thing I'm particularly proud of is the nuclear program and the commitment we've made to build 2 new nuclear plants at our Vogtle facility in Augusta, units 3 and 4. We're about 4 years into that process. As I said, we were granted a term sheet from the DOE a couple of weeks ago, and we hope to finish that with them in the next several months, and that will help lower the cost of that asset. I had to explain in the press conferences that we did about the loan guarantee that it was not a gift of money. The federal government had not somehow given us $8 billion just to use as we wanted to on the project. It was a loan, and they fully expected us to pay it back, and we intend to do so. It will help in financing cost for the unit. We are working through an early site permit on limited work authorization that we've been granted at the site. We're about 90 feet down with the excavation. We'll begin to backfill for the 2 reactors. So we have not been waiting on the loan guarantee to move forward. We're already under construction. Our next major milestone will be design certification and COL, combined operating license, construction operating license in the latter part of 11. If everything stays on track. So I think we've got a good project. I think it's well positioned. We've said as an industry that we have to preserve the ability to utilize one of the most abundant domestic sources of energy in the form of coal that we have in this country. we're trying to deliver in Mississippi in a project before the Mississippi Public Service Commission a brand new commercialization of a coal gasification technology for low-rank coal that we perfected with Kellogg Brown Root at our research facility in Alabama. It will be the first commercialization. We've done a lot of pilot work, but it will be commercialization of coal gasification on lower-rank coal, which makes up about 50% of the total coal reserves in the world. It sits on top of a lignite deposit. It will have about 65% carbon capture technology on it, which will make it equal to about a natural gas footprint. We will not sequester the CO2 in an underground storage, rather we'll sell the CO2 into enhanced oil recovery in the region. So it's a very good project. It's sitting, waiting for the Mississippi Public Service Commission to approve it. At the same time, we continue our work with EPRI and with DOE on carbon capture technologies, mercury capture technologies. We operate the National Carbon Capture Research Center in Alabama for the Department of Energy. So while we are trying to find the right balance and the right avenues going forward, the fact of the matter is we're working on all of these things. The last area I would mention is this notion of smart choices. We believe that customer interface is going to change radically, as Malcolm suggested, and as we provide the kind of technology to our customers to better inform them about how to use our product in a more efficient fashion. We currently have 2 million meters installed, automated meters installed in our service territory, going to a complete installation of 4.5. And so far, we are having a very good experience. We've had some minor reactions from customers who think that now they've got a new meter and their bill's gone up, that somehow there's something wrong with a new meter. They fail to realize we went through the coldest January in the history of our company, and we actually set a peak in January in my territory, which is pretty unusual, a peak in January that was greater than last year's summer peak. So when I put a new meter in and people's bills go up, they think it's because that new meter's wrong. Well, we've worked hard to make certain that the integrity of the accuracy of this process is beyond reproach. So I say all of that simply to say that while we continue to work here to get good policy, we're moving on and delivering the technology that is necessary to provide the service that is required for this economy. It's too important for us not to. I'm proud of what we are doing as a company, and I'm certainly proud of what we're doing as an industry. While we continue to debate the merits of climate policy and other things, the lights stay on, and that's a good outcome. Thank you very much.